You won't believe what's happening. Seriously, I've seen a lot of wild things in my life. Rockets landing themselves, AI that can have full conversations, electric cars that drive better than humans. But this is something else. It's one of those moments where you look around and realize the world is shifting right under your feet, and most people aren't even noticing. But I see it, and if you pay attention, you'll see it too. China is rewriting the rules of entertainment, technology, and culture at a pace no one thought possible. And trust me, I know a thing or two about breaking the rules. This isn't just some vague trend. This is a full-scale transformation, and it's happening so fast that Hollywood, Silicon Valley, and even Wall Street are scrambling to keep up. Let's start with something that blew my mind, a Chinese animated film that is on track to become the highest grossing film in a single market, ever. Not just in China, but in any country in the history of cinema. Think about that. No Hollywood movie has ever made $1 billion in just one market. Not Avatar, not Endgame, not Titanic. But now, Ni Jia 2 is about to do it. And this isn't some fluke, it's not just a lucky hit. This is the result of years of investment, innovation, and honestly a level of commitment that the West has underestimated for too long. The thing is, most people outside China barely know about this film, but those who have seen it, they're calling it a masterpiece. It's got visuals that rival Pixar and storytelling that fuses deep Chinese mythology with themes that resonate globally. It's the kind of thing that 10 years ago people would have said, nah, only Hollywood can do that. Well, guess what? Not anymore. And this is just the beginning. China isn't just making waves in animation, it's rewriting the entire entertainment industry. Video games, same story. Ever heard of Black Myth Wukong? If you haven't, you will soon. It's a Chinese-developed action RPG based on Journey to the West, one of the most famous stories in Chinese culture. And it's already shattering expectations. The game just launched and immediately pulled in over 2.3 million players on Steam. That's more than Counter-Strike, more than Dota 2, more than almost anything else. But it's not just about numbers. The game looks insane. The graphics? Unreal Engine 5 at its absolute peak. The combat? People are calling it the next Dark Souls, but infused with a rich, distinctly Chinese aesthetic and mythology that feels completely fresh. The developers, Game Science, are a relatively small studio compared to Western giants like Rockstar or Ubisoft, but they're proving that talent, passion, and technology can outpace legacy studios that have gotten too comfortable. And then there's AI. Oh man, this one is huge. A new Chinese AI company, DeepSeek, is shaking up the entire AI industry. Now, you've probably heard of ChatGPT, right? And Meta's Llama models. Well, DeepSeek has developed a model that competes with, and in some cases, beats them. And here's the kicker, it's open source. That's right. While Western AI companies are locking down their tech, charging huge fees and keeping everything in-house, DeepSeek is going the other direction. They're making their AI available to everyone, and they're doing it at a fraction of the cost. The implications of this are massive. AI isn't just about chatbots. We're talking about automation, creativity, research, coding, everything. And China is building AI in a way that could make it the foundation of a new technological ecosystem. Even Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella had to admit that Chinese AI companies are posing a real challenge, praising their efficiency and speed of innovation. And if Microsoft is taking them seriously, you know this isn't just hype. So here's the big question. Why is all of this happening now? Why is China suddenly dominating in entertainment, gaming, and AI all at once? Well, it's not actually sudden. This has been years in the making. While the West has been caught up in its own debates, funding cuts, and endless reboots of the same franchises, China has been investing hard. They've been pushing for technological self-sufficiency, nurturing their creative industries, and, frankly, working at a pace that the West just isn't used to anymore. And this isn't just about competition. This is about the future of global influence. Hollywood has shaped the world's culture for a century. Silicon Valley has shaped its technology. But now, we're entering an era where cultural and technological leadership is no longer a given for the West. China is showing that it can create, innovate, and lead in ways that were once unthinkable. What does this mean for the future? Well, for one, it means that people need to pay attention. The next big thing in entertainment might not come from Hollywood. The next revolutionary game might not be from a Western studio. And the next breakthrough in AI might not happen in Silicon Valley. It might happen in Beijing, in Shenzhen, and Hangzhou. So yeah, if you thought the world was changing fast before, buckle up, because what's coming next, it's going to be even bigger. And here's the real kicker. This isn't just about entertainment. What we're witnessing is a fundamental shift in global culture, technology, and influence. China isn't just producing great animated films, world-class video games, and cutting-edge AI. It's setting the stage for a future where its creative and technological advancements shape industries in ways we haven't fully realized yet. Take animation, for instance. For years, the West has dominated the animated film market, with Disney and Pixar setting the gold standard. But now we're seeing a fresh, unique take on storytelling that's deeply rooted in Eastern mythology, philosophy, and artistic tradition. And it's working. This is a playbook that can be applied to any industry, taking traditional roots, innovating on top of them, and bringing something fresh to the global stage. The same thing is happening in gaming. Black Myth Wukong isn't just a one-hit wonder, it's part of a broader movement where China is leveraging its cultural heritage to create games that feel both ancient and futuristic at the same time. Imagine a future where more games are built on the foundations of Chinese mythology, historical narratives, and even philosophical teachings. We could see a complete transformation of the gaming landscape, shifting from Western-style fantasy to a world where multiple cultures bring their own legendary figures to life. And AI, well, that's the big one. AI is already reshaping everything: business, healthcare, logistics, even creative fields like music and art. The fact that China is producing AI models that are cheaper, more efficient, and in some cases more powerful than those coming out of Silicon Valley is a massive wake-up call. Companies like DeepSeek aren't just competing, they're redefining the industry. This isn't just about who can build the best chatbot. It's about who will control the future of intelligence itself. Now, here's a wild thought. Imagine a world where AI is no longer centralized. Right now, a few major corporations hold most of the power in AI, but what happens when advanced AI becomes widely accessible? When startups, individual developers, and researchers across the world can build their own large-scale AI models without relying on big tech. That's the kind of future China is pushing toward: an open-source, decentralized AI landscape where innovation happens everywhere, not just in a handful of elite institutions. And this, my friends, is what's truly mind-blowing. We're looking at a future where creative storytelling, technology, and AI-driven advancements are no longer dictated by a single country or a handful of corporations. We're heading toward a multipolar world where influence is distributed, and where the next big idea could just as easily come from Shanghai as from Silicon Valley. But here's the big question: is the world ready for this shift? Are Western industries prepared to compete, adapt, and innovate in a landscape where China is no longer following but leading? This is where things get really interesting, because disruption doesn't stop, it accelerates. In the next few years, they're going to be wild. So buckle up. The future isn't just coming, it's already here, and it's moving at a speed no one expected. The only question now is, who's ready to keep up?